On this episode of China Uncensored, when North Korea is your good neighbor, you know it's a bad neighborhood. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. North Korea has sent a message to China. Won't you be my neighbor? Things have gotten a little tense lately on the Korean peninsula, but North Korea wants to remind China that it's always been China's good neighbor. So is it really a problem if every so often it stops by to ask for a cup of uranium-235? China and North Korea have had a bit of an on and off again relationship. Back in the 90s, they were close. A little too close. And according to one expert, that four-eyed wart frog even gave nuclear materials and technology to North Korea, which is partially how we got into our current mess in the first place. And so North Korea wants to join the nuclear family. What's the big deal? But recently, China has chosen to side with the American imperialists, condemning North Korea's nuclear tests in what is a total jerk move. And of course, the North Korean regime has reacted to this in an incredibly calm and restrained manner, by accusing China of being a total backstabber. A recent scathing commentary in North Korean state-run media reminded China that back in 1964, when China conducted its first nuclear test and all the countries in the world denounced China, North Korea had China's back. They wrote that, quote, "It was only the DPRK, North Korea, the good neighbor, which actively supported it and encouraged it through government statements." And North Korea is trying to wreck the big party China is throwing this month, the National People's Congress. It's a big, once every 5-year meeting of the Chinese Communist Party, and every detail is carefully scripted because it has to be perfect. North Korea is questioning whether the Chinese Communist Party can be entitled to enter the coming party conference hall only when they register the dirty reptile records of betraying the peoples of the two countries. Reptile records. I think North Korea is confused. The CCP leaders aren't reptilians, they're amphibians. But anyway, after some pretty intense pressure from the United States, China has agreed to put in place yet another round of UN sanctions in response to North Korea's nuclear test last month. Overall, these sanctions have now banned 90% of the North's $2.7 billion of publicly reported exports. As for North Korea's not publicly reported exports, well, there's always forcing diplomats to sell meth. That's a real thing that's been going on for years. But anyway, those UN sanctions also ban all joint business ventures with North Korea and the use of North Korean workers. This mostly affects China, as one of the only countries with any kind of meaningful relationship with the Kim regime. Thousands of mostly female North Korean workers in China have been forced to leave. Sorry, no more awkward dancing with your mediocre North Korean food. These overseas workers were one of the last lifelines to North Korea. About 100,000 North Koreans work overseas, including at restaurants. They're essentially slaves because they have to send their salaries to the North Korean regime. About $500 million a year worth. But now, China has taken away North Korea's slave money. And that's why North Korea says China is a bad neighbor. But the response from China has been, whoa, 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 whoa. You're calling us the bad neighbor? We're the good neighbor. You guys wouldn't even exist today if we hadn't saved your butts during the Korean War. And if we didn't send food to your starving citizens during that famine in the 90s, you wouldn't have anyone left to force into slave labor. Plus, we've been the ones trying to talk Donald Trump down from launching nukes at you guys. Just listen to our foreign ministry.
We have always believed that military means should not be an option to resolve the nuclear issue on the peninsula, because arms cannot resolve the differences.
Unless those arms are giving bear hugs, come here, who's the good neighbor? But really, North Korea is kind of the bad neighbor here. I mean, what kind of neighbor tests nuclear weapons near your property line without even discussing it with you first? Plus, North Korean state-run media just has not been friendly. But the ups and downs between China and North Korea actually go back decades to the founder of North Korea's communist regime, Kim Il-sung grew up in northeast China and fought alongside the Chinese communists against the Japanese. But eventually, the Chinese communists turned on the Korean communists in a racist purge and tortured and killed hundreds of them. Kim was lucky to survive. Mao Zedong later called Kim Il-sung a #1 pain in the butt. And Mao had a big butt. And in 1980, when Kim Il-sung named his son Kim Jong-il to be his successor, China openly denounced hereditary succession as a vestige of feudalism. Actually, it was mainly the amphibian Jiang Zemin who wanted good relations. So even though China provides 90% of North Korean trade and was most likely responsible for giving the technology it needed to start its nuclear program, the relationship between the two has not always been neighborly. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching this episode of China Uncensored. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Chappell. See you next time. It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling to go to ChinaUncensored.tv to watch full half-hour episodes of China Uncensored. You always make each day such a special day. You know how? By just your being you. Only one person in the whole world like you. I'm of course talking to Kim Jong-un. He's a fan of the show. Visit ChinaUncensored.tv.